Good day everyone. Our topic for today is general provisions on obligations. This topic is very important and crucial when it comes to business and business transactions. Business transactions have obligations. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka makakapagbenta, makakapag-employ o makakapagpasok sa kahit anong contract kung walang obligations. Kahit simpleng bagay gaya ng pagbili ng load nyo sa tindahan nyo or pagbabayad ng tubig at kuryente, meron yang legal obligation. Ibig sabihin, every life natin is umiikot yan sa konseptong ito. Kaya, as a future business professional is we need to understand the concept of obligations for us to know the responsibilities, the rights, and also this study is the foundation of contracts, so we need to learn and master it. In short, learning this study will help us to easily understand the whole obligations and contracts. At the end of the reporting or presentations, the student will understand the meaning, concept, and essential requisites and sources of obligations. And also we will introduce the concept relating to obligor and oblig.
Good day, everyone. I am Alexander Pakleb. Now let's talk about the definition of obligation. An obligation, as defined by the Civil Code, is a juridical necessity to give, to do, or not to do. This may sound simple at first, pero kung i-analyze natin, malalim ang ibig sabihin nito. The word juridical necessity is key. It means na hindi ito simpleng promise or personal commitment lang. Once it becomes an obligation, the law steps in and enforces it. For example, if you borrow money and you fail to pay, hindi mo pwedeng i-justify by saying na nakalimutan ko or hindi mo na kaya. The creditor or the who lent the money has the right to bring the case to court. That is the meaning of juridical necessity. There is legal consequence attached. Pero obligations are not only about loans or debt. They cover many duties in life. Employers have the obligation to pay their employees. Employees have the obligation to perform their work faithfully. As citizens, we all have the obligation to pay taxes and to obey the law. Even in our personal lives, we are bound by obligation. For example, a parent's duty to support his or her child. The root word of obligation is obligare, which means to bind. The image here is that of a rope tying you to a duty. Once you are under an obligation, you are legally tied to it until it's performed. You cannot just cut the rope on your own. It is only extinguished once the obligation is fulfilled, condoned, or settled under the law. If we think about society without obligation, chaos ang mangyayari. Imagine kung walang obligation ang employer to pay salaries or walang obligation ang consumer to pay for electricity or walang obligation ang government to provide public services, business and daily would be full of uncertainty. Obligations give order and predictability. They serve as the backbone of trust in society. So in summary, an obligation is more than just a casual promise. It is a legal bond that binds parties to act, to deliver, or to refrain, and it's this bond that ensures fairness and harmony in both private dealings and public life. Thank you.
To make it valid and legal, the obligations, there are four essential requisites. First is we have a passive subject, also called the debtor or obligor, and we have active subject, also called creditor and obligee. And the third one is we have an object, or also called prestation. And the fourth one is we have a juridical or legal tie. A passive subject is the person who is bound to the fulfillment of the obligations, he who has a duty. And the second one is, and the active subject, it is the person who is entitled to demand and to the fulfillment of the obligation, he who has a right. And the third one is the object or prestation. This is the conduct required to be observed by the debtor. It may consist in giving, doing, or not doing. Without the prestation, there is nothing to perform. In bilateral obligation, you can read the Article 1191. The parties are reciprocally debtors and creditors. Juridical or legal tie. It is also called the efficient cause, which binds or connects the parties to the obligation. The tie and the obligation, it can easily be determined by knowing the source of the obligation. You can read the Article 1157 to more information about this. And I will give an example to make it understandable. Under the building contract, X bound himself to build a house for Y for 1 million peso. Here, X is a passive subject and Y is the active subject. The building of the house is the object or prestation, and the agreement of or contract, which is the source of the obligation, it is the juridical or legal tie. X suppose X had already constructed the house, and it was the agreement that Y would pay X after the construction is finished. X becomes the active subject and Y is the passive subject. Now I will explain to the form of obligations for more informations. The form of an obligation refers to the manner in which an obligation is manifested or incurred. It may be oral or in writing, or partly oral and partly in writing. Number 1, as a general rule, the law does not require any form for obligation arising from contracts for their validity or binding force. For more information, you can read the Article 1356. And second one is obligation arising from other sources. From Article 1157, do not have any form at all. Obligation, right and wrong distinguish. 1. Obligation is the act or performance which the law will enforce. 2. Right, on the other hand, is a power which is personal under the law to demand from another any prestation. Number 3. A wrong or a cause of action according to its legal meaning in an act of omission of one party in violation of the legal right or rights is recognized by law of another. In law, in term injury is also used to refer to the wrongful violation of the legal right of another. The essential elements of legal wrong or injury are: first is a legal right in favor of a person, a creditor or obligee, plaintiff. Number 2 is we have a correlative legal obligation on the part of another is the debtor or obligor, defendant, to respect or not to be violate said right, and the number 3 is an actor or omission by the latter in violation of said right with resulting injury or damage to the former. An obligation on the part of a person cannot exist without corresponding right in favor of another, and vice versa. A wrong or cause of action only arises at the moment a right has been transgressed or violated. That's all for me.
Now let us move to the concept and sources of obligation. The Civil Code provides 5 law: contracts, quasi-contract, delict, and quasi-delicts. The first source is law. Obligations from the law are mandatory kahit walang kasunduan. A good example is paying taxes or a parent's duties to support his child. Hindi mo pwede sabihin na ayoko na kasi kahit walang agreement, the law imposes it. The second source is contracts. This is the most common and practical. A contract is a meeting of minds that create obligations. For example, sa isang lease agreement, the landlord is obliged to provide a livable unit, and the tenant is obliged to pay rent every month. Contracts are voluntarily and entered into, but once signed, the law enforces them strictly. The third source is quasi-contracts. Ito yung interesting kasi walang formal contract but obligation still arise because of lawful acts. For example, when you accidentally pay more than what is due, the person who received the excess has the obligation to return it. Another example, when someone manages another person's business without authority, the owner is then obliged to reimburse the expenses incurred kahit walang kasunduan. The law step in to prevent unfairness. The fourth source is delicts or crimes. Every crime automatically creates obligation, not just criminal liability but also civil liability. For instance, kung nanira ka ng property or you committed theft, you are obliged to return or compensate for the loss. So aside from punishment from the state, you also owe damages to the victim. Finally, we have quasi-delicts, also known as torts. They arise from negligence or fault kahit walang contract. Example, a reckless driver who hits a pedestrian, wala silang contract, pero dahil may damage na nagawa, the law imposes an obligation to pay compensation. By looking at these 5 sources, we can see that obligation come from many situations, hindi lang sa contract or debt, kung pati sa batas, sa crime, and even accident. This proves that obligations are present in every part of our lives, making sure fairness and justice are maintained. Concept of obligor and obligee. In every obligation, may dalawang parties na involved, the obligor and the obligee. The obligor, also called the debtor, is the one who has the duty to give, to do, or not to do. Meanwhile, the obligee, also called the creditor, is the one who has the right to demand fulfillment. Madali lang tandaan, obligors means the one who has to do. Obligee means the one who must receive. Let us take example. If you are paying your electricity bill, ikaw ang obligor kasi ikaw ang magbabayad. Meralco, on the other hand, is the obligee kasi sila ang tatanggap ng bayad. Pero kung i-flip natin at pag-usapan yung kuryente mismo, Meralco becomes the obligor since they are obliged to provide electricity service. and you become the obligee kasi entitled ka to receive it. This shows that parties can actually be both obligor and obligee at the same time, depending on the situation. A great example is in employment contracts. The employer is obligor in paying salaries, but obligee in receiving the employee's work. The employee, on the other hand, is obligor in rendering work, but obligee in receiving his salary. The same goes for ordinary transaction like food delivery. The restaurant is obligor in delivering the food, but obligee in receiving payment. The customer is obligor in paying, but obligee in receiving the order. From this example, it is clear that obligations create a network of right and duties. They are often reciprocal, meaning both sides have responsibilities and both sides have rights. If one fails, the other can demand or sue. If both perform, the obligation is extinguished. Understanding the roles of obligor and obligee help us appreciate the balance of obligation. It shows who is responsible, who has right to demand, and how obligation create fairness in business and in everyday life. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. Today I will be discussing a topic na madalas nating makita or ma-experience sa real life pero minsan hindi masyadong napapansin. Meron akong example dito is yung paying bills, borrowing money, finding lost property, employer-employee relationship, business transactions in terms of obligor and obligee. Basically, ang alamin natin kung sino ang may obligasyon at sino ang may karapatan sa bawat situation. Gagamit tayo ng simpleng examples para mas madali siyang maintindihan, gaya ng trabaho o online shopping. So let's start with first example. First example is paying bills. Tayong mga consumers ang obligor kasi obligasyon nating magbayad ng bills kagaya ng tubig, kuryente, internet, etc. Ang obligee ay ang utility companies like Meralco, Maynilad, PLDT, Converge, etc. Kasi sila ang may karapatang tumanggap ng bayad kapalit ng kanilang serbisyo. So, sa mas madaling salita, sa pagbayad ng bills, tayo ang obligor dahil kailangan natin magbayad. Yung company, sila ang obligee dahil sila ang tumatanggap ng bayad para sa serbisyong ginagawa nila. So, next is borrowing money. So, sa borrowing money, ang borrower ang obligor. Ang lender naman ang obligee. So, ang borrower ay yung ang nangungutang, ang lender ay yung nagpapautang. Next is finding lost property. Dito sa finding lost property is, papasok rin dito yung mga naunang topic na may quasi-contract na nag-exist. So, for example, is kung may napulot kang wallet, binalik mo, so may quasi-contract na nag-exist, kaya obligasyon mo siyang isolate sa may-ari. Next is employer-employee relationship. Sa relasyon ng employer-employee relationship, pareho silang may obligasyon sa isa't isa, pero magkaiba lang ang role nila, depende sa situation. First is pagdating sa sahod. Si employer ang obligor o may ang obligasyon niyang magbayad o magpasahod. Si employee naman ang obligee. May karapatang tumanggap ng sahod dahil sa kanyang trabaho. Ibig sabihin, ang employer ang may responsibilidad na bayaran ng employee. Pagdating naman sa trabaho, si employee naman ang obligor, may obligasyon siyang gawin ang trabaho. Next is employer is obligee. May karapatang tumanggap ng serbisyo o trabaho. So sa simple explanation, sa sahod, si employer ang nagbibigay, si employee ang tumatanggap. Sa trabaho, si employee ang gumagawa, si employer ang tumatanggap. Next topic is business transactions. For example, dito is yung Shopee. Sa transaction sa Shopee, parehong may obligasyon at karapatan ng buyer at seller. So first is the buyer. Sa side ni buyer, obligor siya sa pagbayad at obligee naman siya sa pag-receive ng item. Sa side naman ni seller, obligor sa pag-deliver ng item, obligee sa pagtanggap ng bayad. Sa mas simpleng explanation, si buyer ang magbabayad ng item, si seller ang magde-deliver at tatanggap ng bayad. Next is transport services. Sa Grab o taxi, ang pasahero ay kailangan magbayad at ang driver naman ay may tungkuling ihatid ng safe or ligtas ang pasahero. Ipinapakita nito na kahit simpleng transaction, may obligasyon ang bawat isa. So, sa topic na tinalakay natin is makikita natin na bawat galaw natin dito sa society ay may kasamang obligations. Yun lang. Thank you. So, let's start with first example. First example is paying bills. Tayong mga consumers ang obligor kasi obligasyon nating magbayad ng bills kagaya ng tubig, kuryente, internet, etc. Ang obligee ay ang utility companies like Meralco, Maynilad, PLDT, Converge, etc. Kasi sila ang may karapatang tumanggap ng bayad kapalit ng kanilang serbisyo. So, sa mas madaling salita, sa pagbayad ng bills, tayo ang obligor dahil kailangan natin magbayad. Yung company, sila ang obligee dahil sila ang tumatanggap ng bayad para sa serbisyong ginagawa nila. So, next is borrowing money. So, sa borrowing money, ang borrower ang obligor. Ang lender naman ang obligee. So, ang borrower ay yung ang nangungutang, ang lender ay yung nagpapautang. Next is finding lost property. Dito sa finding lost property is papasok rin dito yung mga naunang topic na may quasi-contract na nag-exist. So, for example, is kung may napulot kang wallet, binalik mo, so may quasi-contract na nag-exist, kaya obligasyon mo siyang isolate sa may-ari. Next is employer-employee relationship. Sa relasyon ng employer-employee relationship, pareho silang may obligasyon sa isa't isa, pero magkaiba lang ang role nila, depende sa situation. First is pagdating sa sahod. Si employer ang obligor o ang obligasyon niyang magbayad o magpasahod. So, si employee naman ang obligee. May karapatang tumanggap ng sahod dahil sa kanyang trabaho. Ibig sabihin, ang employer ang may responsibilidad na bayaran ng employee. Pagdating naman sa trabaho, si employee naman ang obligor, may obligasyon siyang gawin ang trabaho. Next is employer is obligee. May karapatang tumanggap ng serbisyo o trabaho. So, sa simple explanation, sa sahod, si employer ang nagbibigay, si employee ang tumatanggap. Sa trabaho, si employee ang gumagawa, si employer ang tumatanggap. Next topic is business transactions. For example, dito is yung Shopee. Sa transaction sa Shopee, parehong may obligasyon at karapatan ng buyer at seller. So, first is the buyer. Sa side ni buyer, obligor siya sa pagbayad at obligee naman siya sa pag-receive ng item. Sa side naman ni seller, obligor sa pag-deliver ng item, obligee sa pagtanggap ng bayad. Sa mas simpleng explanation, si buyer ang magbabayad ng item, si seller ang magde-deliver at tatanggap ng bayad. Next is transport services. Sa Grab o taxi, ang pasahero ay kailangan magbayad at ang driver naman ay may tungkulin ihatid ng safe or ligtas ang pasahero. Ipinapakita nito na kahit simpleng transaction, may obligasyon ang bawat isa. So, sa topic na tinalakay natin is makikita natin na bawat galaw natin dito sa society ay may kasamang obligations. Yun lang. Thank you. So, the last topic is conclusion. So, sa kabuuan, ang obligations ay foundation ng order at justice sa society. Yung papasok ng obligation is part ng ating daily life. It requires a juridical tie between two parties. Understanding obligations helps in business and personal dealings. So, sa atin, as a student, obligasyon natin mag-aral at sumunod sa school policy at school rules. Next is future employee or managers. Obligasyon natin sila igalang ang kontrata at gawin ang ating responsibilities. As a citizen, obligasyon nating magbayad ng buwis. Tapos, ipanakaw natin sa mga corrupt na politiko. Joke lang. At sumunod sa batas. So, kung hindi natin tutuparin obligation natin, is magkakaroon tayo ng conflict, misunderstanding, at legal problems. So, kaya mahalaga sa atin ang ating obligations at kung ano ang obligations ng ibang tao sa atin. So, isa rin to sa susi para magkaroon ng maayos na relationship sa business, trabaho, lipunan. So, tayo naman bilang future professionals, mas magiging equipped tayo in handling contracts, disputes, and negotiations kapag alam natin ang general provisions on obligations. So, obligations are not just legal rules. They are the foundation of trust, accountability, and an order in both business and everyday life. Yun lang. Thank you.